Ladies and gentlemen, we are hanging out with one of the new kids on the block, man. Vance Joy, sir. Thank you for taking the time. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for talking to me.
Guys, if you don't know Vance Joy, the newest album, Dream Your Life Away, featuring, of course, the song, y'all know it by now, you've heard it millions of times by now, one and only Riptide, which, can I be honest with you, it's a song every day that I go to the gym. I hear that song at least 2 times. And there's a little part of me goes, I really just don't want to like this song anymore. I can't deal with it. But at the same time, I'm like, but it's good. I can't deny the man writing a good song. It's awesome. I listened to the rest of the album today. Congratulations on its release. That's awesome. And on top of that, you are opening for Taylor Swift on a 1989 tour, which is pretty fucking massive now that I'm thinking about it. Because you're going to be exposed to tens of thousands of screaming people at every stop. I know she covered you on Live Lounge on BBC Radio 1, and I guess when you first heard that she did that, what was your initial reaction, like, when you heard that, or, like, did you even hear it live at first, or did someone bring it to you?
Well, someone brought it to me, actually. My manager, Rachel, she had the clip up on her phone, and she was playing the audio to me, and she had her hand over the screen, and she's like, hey, listen to this, and I was like, that sounds really good. Like, who is that? So it sounds, like, really legit. And then she's like, and I was like, whoa. And so I was surprised. I was totally, like, blown away. I loved the cover. So what was the question again?
It's been a long day. Vance Joy's very tired. No, but I guess getting that call, getting that notice from Taylor Swift, who is arguably, whether you like her or not, one of the biggest stars on the planet in the music world. So to get that email or to get that phone call, how did that even go down? Does Taylor call you? She seems like the kind of person that she seems sweet enough that she would actually want to call you on the phone and be like, oh, would you want to come open for me on my tour? It'd be really rad.
She's pretty down to earth in that way. And I know that she does have a lot to do with, every facet of what she does. But I got a chance to meet her at, she was doing sound check for the Letterman show. And she was totally so sweet. She was excited to have you on tour. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited as well. And I met her band, and it was really cool.
I've always had this weird idea that Taylor Swift would just smell like cupcakes. Does Taylor Swift smell like cupcakes?
I can't confirm or deny that. You should come to a show. You gotta come to a show.
I suppose I could go to a show, but they're all sold out a year in advance, man.
I'll put you on my door list.
Will you?
I will put you now. This is on the record. You're on my door list. You are on my list. You tell me what show. Is it going to be Chicago?
Chicago show.
Okay, well, you're on my list.
All right. Yeah. Shaking hands on camera. Confirmed, man. Awesome. No, I'll definitely go to a show. That'd be rad, dude. But Dream Your Life Away, it's so amazing how quick everything has seemed to have happened for you. I know that you've been working your ass off in Australia. You'd written the song, Riptide back in, 2009? Something it's been around for a while before it actually...
Yeah, the start of the song was 2009 and
right.
2008, 9, and then I finished it in 2012. So it's been around for a while.
Is it much harder to be an up-and-coming artist and to try to hit that mainstream from Australia, from New Zealand, from that area of the world, because it's so isolated? I know that, Lorde is from New Zealand and she's obviously running the world now. Yeah. You're from Australia, so you're coming up now. But, is it that much harder for you guys because you're just literally in your own little quadrant of the world that sometimes, unfortunately, people forget about?
I'm not sure. Obviously, you can only really gauge things on your own experience. I recorded, Riptide and my EP, in a short amount of time, really cheaply. I recorded Riptide with my drummer. We went into a studio. He was going away, and he's my drummer percussionist. And I was like, I need you to come into the studio with me. I've booked a place for $700 for one day. We used a sound engineer at the place, recorded the song, and then I put it up on SoundCloud with some artwork that I did myself. And then from there I got a call from my manager, or my current manager, who found it on Facebook. And he's like, do you have any other songs? And I was like, yeah, I've got a few songs that I've been kind of working on. And he's like, oh, here's a producer that does be perfect. I spent out of my own pocket. We kind of just put together 5 or 6 songs, right. Had the EP, and then since then it's just kind of like small tours, and then it's slowly kind of just gradually built and built. But it's kind of it's weird. I just keep walking through these doors, and absolutely, it's I've had this thing in my pocket which is just a song that gets in people's ears and is in the gym twice a day. So it's like, and then this huge door is opened with the Taylor Swift tour. So I think my whole mentality and my whole life has just been kind of just adapting to the changes. You know, like I was out of my head. Like end of last year, I lost my voice for a couple of months just because I was working so much and overwhelmed almost. But now it's kind of like I feel like I'm catching up.
That's always so weird to me, man. Just like to play however many shows. I mean, you're on tour now, and then as soon as you're done with this, you're going to start 1989 with Taylor Swift, and then I don't know what else you have planned after that, but I'm sure there's going to be much more touring after that to keep this momentum going. But then is that like a worry to you, like in the back of your mind? Is it one of those things where it's like, okay, I've got a really big song now. I'm obviously going to follow it up with another single that hopefully people are going to like, people are going to enjoy. It's going to get a lot of rotation and play. But is that thought in the back of your mind, like, I really hope that this isn't just like a one-shot kind of deal and then like I kind of fade away, because that's got to be frightening, especially for someone that just suddenly, to people that don't know, just suddenly seems like you just showed up on the scene, you've got this one song, and now you've got to keep producing, otherwise that's the end of the ride.
I mean, if it really, I try not to hold on to anything too tightly, because if you hold on to stuff tightly, like you're like, oh, I have a big song, like what if I never write another big song? It's like, I know I write other songs, and I guess my songs will communicate to people. They might not communicate to everyone, sure. But you know, on the album or on the EP, it's like there's songs that will communicate to a certain amount of people. And I think as long as I interact with that group of people and continue to make music, if it comes, mm-hmm. and if it does come, then I'll give it to those people. Mm-hmm. And I have faith in those songs reacting with those people whose ears are open. Yeah, I feel kind of secure in that, and I feel like I probably was stressed out about it early on, because it was like you have people telling you, oh, you got to have another big single. But I feel like with songwriting, it's an organic thing, and a song will arrive when it wants to arrive.
Is there any pressure now coming from suits? From the record industry, from the record label, like, I mean, when you start writing this music and you present them the final product, like, here you go, this is what I got, this is what I was inspired by, and they kind of like, I mean, it's so, yeah, all right, but we need that hit, or we need that ballad, or we need that whatever. I mean, are you of that ilk that would just be like, all right, yeah, let me just jump back into the studio and knock one out, or are you like, no, this is what I wrote, this is what I believe in, and if you can't get behind it, then fuck off, essentially?
Yeah, it's just you can go left and right. There's always negotiation. Like they say, oh, this song doesn't feel right, or whatever it is. There's always going to be someone's opinion, but I think when it comes to the music, you just got to follow your gut. And yeah, I think people you got to give them credit for having imagination, and always give them the benefit of the doubt. Like I don't like the idea of kind of appealing to the lowest common denominator. So you can always give the music that you think will, even if it doesn't on paper, it might not tick these boxes. It's like, well, this isn't. We're still getting this beautiful, whatever it is, the communication of music. It looks different to anything you've seen before, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to work. Right. So I kind of like the endless possibilities with music, and pop music can be totally transforming all the time and evolving.
It's funny you say pop music too, because I was just going to ask you, do you consider yourself, because your songs definitely have a major crossover appeal. I mean, I know like world over, like in Europe and in Australia, like when it's called pop music, I mean, that can refer to many, many different things. But I know here in the United States, when you say pop music, you're thinking Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, top 40 stuff, you know. But then you're getting a lot of heavy rotation as well on alternative rock radio stations. And I know that when you were starting out playing guitar, you were playing stuff like Metallica, like, you know, like that's how you were starting to learn music. What do you identify as, or what would you want to identify as? Do you identify yourself as just a pop artist, or do you identify yourself as a rock artist? Or, I mean,
I think I'm a singer-songwriter. And I think that it gives you a lot of freedom to be a lot of things, but at the moment it's me and my guitar, you know, with a band, or it's me and my guitar by myself. So whatever category that is, like songwriter, singer-songwriter. In terms of rock, pop, I don't really know. I think it's probably folky elements, just because I'm playing with my guitar. But the songs that I find myself singing, like bits of songs, when I'm kind of morphing them into my own stuff, if I'm influenced by something, it's always very far-reaching. Like it's usually, you know, it could be super pop stuff, okay, just a melody, and then you're trying to, you know, bring it back within whatever your skill set is and the way you sound. So I don't know. I don't really have a label, but it's just me. Very much just me and the guitar.
I'm just curious to know, like, if music were to end tomorrow for you, let's hope it doesn't. Yeah. But if it did, and you had to go back to Australia, make your life, make your living, do you go back to semi-professional Australian football, or do you finish up that law degree?
I got to the end of my law degree. I have to do a traineeship for a year to practice as a lawyer, and that's not going to happen. Definitely, really, if it finished tomorrow, I would probably veg out for a good while. Okay. I'd go on a long holiday. I don't know what I'd do, but I'd find something to do. But I wouldn't be working. Okay. Yeah, I'd just be maybe if I had to work, I'd probably be gardening at my old gardening job.
You also did play semi-pro Australian football. Yeah. I'm just curious to know because you played for the Tigers, right? Yeah. Okay, and would you get you got MVP your first year out or something like that?
It took me a while to crack into the team, and when I got in the team, I got best first year player.
What I'm curious to know about, as far as Australian football is concerned, is Sav Rocca treated like God because he crossed over from Australian football to the NFL? Because he was a kicker he sucks now, but I mean he was a kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles and for other teams. Is he considered he made it?
He was a really good AFL player. And yeah, I mean, he kind of in some ways he kind of goes out of, because Australia is so into its football. Yeah. He kind of goes off and leads his other career that we kind of don't hear about much. Right. It's kind of it's kind of a bit mysterious actually. Really? What he's actually doing, because we don't really keep up to date with NFL, but he's probably revered in some ways for making that transition, because it's kind of cool. It's like his career for AFL was kind of complete and he'd done everything, and he was kind of an older dude, and then he goes off and plays this.
Because when he was in AFL, I mean, I don't follow AFL, but what from my understanding, he came to the NFL and he went to the Eagles first as the kicker, and for some reason everybody was incredibly excited when he came to Philly because they were all talking about this kid's got a monster leg.
Was he like a pretty impressive kick?
He started because my best friend is an Eagles fan, and so when Sav Rocca first came a few years ago, he was over the moon. He was like, dude, this fucker's just gonna kick the ball 75 yards. He's gonna just pin him back every single time, and he started out okay, but then the Eagles got rid of him. He played for another team. I can't remember who he played for. I think he played for one more team. I don't even know if he's still playing anymore, honestly. All I remember is that Sav Rocca's stock just kept plummeting. The fact that he was popular in Philly, which is already a tough town to be popular in, and then just gradually I don't know, man. I felt bad for him.
No, don't feel bad. I mean, he had a full career in Australia. He did everything. He played for years. So it was kind of to do that at his at that point in his career, it was it's kind of that's a fucking huge, that's a huge win anyway, you know? Right. That's the biggest thing ever. To kind of go off and it's I've done what everyone does. All the best careers last for 10 years, 15 years. And then at the end of 15 years I'm going to go play NFL. I think, that was already, once he was on the plane to the team, it was you've
So you're saying that we got Sav Rocca to the NFL when he was burned out?
I think that you got him after a long AFL career.
Listen, as far as the rest of the year is concerned, I know we're almost done with 2014, heading in 2015. You got 1989 coming up, which apparently I'm going to a show now, which is awesome. I am going to a show. I will be there. But no, as far as the rest of 2015 is concerned, what do you have planned? Any new you going to come back to Lollapalooza? I know you were here earlier in the year.
I would want to come back. Yeah, man. And I like it here. And also, I really don't know. My mind hasn't gone beyond 1989. Okay. And I think, after that, there'll be something, but I'm not sure what it is.
Are you on that for the whole U.S. run?
Yeah, until October.
So how many dates is that?
60 dates.
60?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's awesome, though. Yeah. Good for you, man. I mean, honestly, that's phenomenal, man. I honestly wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate it. Again, guys, we've been hanging out with Vance Joy. All-around good guy that can also play football.